I guess the most obvious question is how did you get involved in this tour? How did it come about?
I bought my way into it.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah.
Yeah,
They were the highest bidder.
Yeah.
You know, it was an eBay thing. Not very many people knew about
Perfect.
that. But,
Perfect. I wonder who you beat out. That'd be interesting.
I don't know.
I heard
John Bon
Madonna.
Jovi, I think, was in there, and I'm not sure.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
All right then. Well, fine. So how much rehearsal time did you guys have before you you hit the road here?
About 2 weeks.
2 weeks was it's pretty intense.
Yeah, it was a lot to take on. I mean, we kind of stared at each other and went, "Oh, you know, where do we start?" And of course, you're more interested in everybody else's song. You know, at first you're kind of like, "What?"
Right.
I mean, I wanted to tell Jackson what he ought to do.
And he was how'd that go? Very
Well, I didn't. I kept my mouth shut, but I wanted to. I wanted to tell him what to do. So you kind of had to pick your own songs, and then, yeah, getting started was just a lot to jump into. But.
And I know now you guys are kind of taking the vocals on of other people's songs.
Yeah, it's starting to kind of
working
loosen up.
out?
It's really fun. It's fun. It's what makes this tour something we wanted to do, because we knew that kind of stuff would happen. It'd be a relief from your own usual
Right.
thing.
Something a little different, more
Yeah.
fun. Is it strange hearing someone else singing your songs right there in front of you, or is it something?
It's a thrill. I wouldn't call it strange. It's really a thrill. I mean, I'm extremely familiar with all these people's music and their voices, so if they chime in on something, I know that's Bonnie singing. I mean, it's like, okay, that's Bonnie Raitt singing. It's great.
And you find yourself doing the same as well to their music, just going with the energy that's happening on stage.
Yeah.
Do you think there's going to be a live album at some point for coming out of this tour?
I don't know.
Would you like there to be?
There's things being taped. Well, if it was good, yeah. I mean, it's, you know, this is just our 4th concert tonight.
Oh, so it's very, very soon.
So, yeah, we're just kind of starting to loosen up and feel more confident and have enough, you know, the first couple of nights you're just like, okay, where are we in the set? You know, you try to remember. So it takes a while to get enough perspective to go, I know this is an exceptional moment. This is usually a very exceptional moment. This is, you know, to get a perspective on it.
Are you guys allowing for spontaneity though on the set as well, or during the shows?
We're starting to.
Starting to relaxing a little bit more.
Yeah, it gets sillier and sillier.
Well, that's good.
I think so, yeah.
Now, when was the first time that you actually felt that you had succeeded with what you had set out to do with your music?
Probably when I got a record contract.
The very first one?
Yeah, the only one. I'm still working that one out. I was a very reluctant songwriter and always wanted to be a songwriter, and that, personally, that took me a very long time to fulfill that. I was just reluctant and felt awkward about it, and wrote a lot of songs before really kind of figuring out how I wrote best. And so when that was validated more or less by, you know, being signed to Columbia on the basis of this demo that I had of songs that I wrote and co-wrote with John Leventhal, I think that made me feel.
What was it about the songwriting that made you feel reluctant to go on? Was it?
I'm kind of a basically lazy person, and songwriting takes a lot of, it takes patience, it takes, patience. It takes a lot of patience and a lot of faith. And, and singing always came very easily to me, so I could get a lot of attention and praise just by kind of imitating people and going out, you know. So it was easier, and I just admired great songs so much, I kind of just didn't want to jump in that arena for fear of failing. But you know how things go. Finally, you have to. You
just have to do it. You have to go in and close your eyes and hope for the best.
Yeah.
What does the songwriting process entail for you? How do you? I mean, do you sit down and go, "It's time to write a song," or do you just let it happen?
I just let it happen. I mean, sometimes you have to sit down and say it's time to write a song. If you've got a deadline or you committed to a movie project and you promised them, you know, sure, there's times when it's sort of. And great things can come out of that, you know.
Pressure gives you a little.
Pressure can be good, and yeah, deadlines can be good. It's not that just, you know, that can make you do good stuff. But mostly, I try to kind of let it, you know, float in and out, and kind of keep a third eye out for it, and jot down ideas. And then the time always comes when you got to get down to business
Yeah.
and flesh out the song,
Yeah.
and get the melody right, and fill in the blanks, and put together this puzzle. And there's always a little bit of, you know, sweat to it, but that's part of what makes it fulfilling.
Do you think that after the amount of success that you had with your, not the last album, the album before that, with A Few Small Repairs, did having that kind of success affect your creative process at all? Did it create a pressure there to achieve that level again? How did you overcome that? Or have you?
I'm doing it right now. The cool thing about that record was it was the 4th record that I'd made, and the previous 3 we'd hoped for, maybe some things that we actually ended up getting on A Few Small Repairs. We'd hoped for some, maybe top 40 radio airplay, and it just didn't happen. And so by the time we got to that record, I was didn't care about that anymore. I had a loyal following. I had a career. So I didn't sell 1 million records. I had a career. I was lucky. I'd go out and make my living, singing. And
Right.
So, and all those records kind of were belabored. They were, we took a lot of time and, looked at them very closely. And so that Few Small Repairs record, John Leventhal and I just went in and went, we cared. Don't get me wrong. We cared very much, but we trusted ourselves. We were like, we're not out to reinvent the wheel. We're not out to make the big breakthrough. We're going to have fun, be creative, be true to ourselves, do this fast and spontaneously with musicians we trust, because it's not rocket science. It's just what we do. Let's have a good time. It's the only record I've ever made that I wasn't sick of by the time it was done, because I hadn't heard it 16 times, listened to the vocals. So, and then it does well. So now, we're going back in, and I'm going, we got to do it just like we did it before. And every record has its own personality, so you just got to kind of let go.
You still haven't figured out how to break free of that.
No, you just got to do it song by song.
Right.
With every song, you get further away from the last one and further into what this one is. So it's just a process. Do
you go into the studio prepared with all the with songs written already, or you just kind of?
Sometimes, but that was what was cool about that record too. Is I was not as prepared as I probably thought I needed to be in past projects, but I thought, so what are we going to do? Now, we'll do it. We'll finish it. And there was just a very relaxed attitude. It taught me a lot. So yeah, sometimes this project I'm coming in with stuff that's done, but not all of it at all.
That's good. That's good. And when can we expect the new album?
Oh, spring.
Spring.
Yeah.
Good. Very good.
We started it already.
That's good. Yeah. That's good. What do you think is the happiest moment or the proudest moment of your career so far?
Proudest moment of my career. Well, proudest moment of my career. God, that's so hard. I mean, because the Grammys come to mind, you can't help it.
Right,
I mean, that was, my parents were there. I was on the front page of my hometown paper. The teachers that thought I would really be, a disaster in life had to go like, oh, I guess she did all right. So that was pretty special.
What about the saddest moment? Has there been a saddest moment?
Saddest moment in my career.
Okay.
The saddest moment was probably I was making my first record. I never made a record before. Went in to do the first vocal, very first vocal. I've dreamed all my life of going to make my first record and sitting in front of that microphone and cutting the vocal to my friend. So, and I way overdid it. I had like candles and everything, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna sing my first vocal. And it was to this song called Shotgun Down the Avalanche, which I just knew back. Of course, I'd been doing, singing the song for 2 years, and I was like, I'm ready to go. It's a moment I've been waiting for. So I sang it. And couldn't wait to hear it back. Oh my God! And the engineer forgot to press record.
No.
Yeah. And it was so. And that never happens. I don't think I've had an engineer forget to press record since then. I mean, in 10 years, I don't think that's ever happened again. But he forgot to press record, and it was so. It screwed me up so bad we had to just shut down for the day and go home.
No. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That
so
is
even
amazing.
if that's the saddest moment, I guess it's been a pretty good
Yeah, that's
career,
not too
so,
bad.
yeah.
That's not too bad.
No, it's not too bad.